Welcome back to the show. Now, property investing is all about the numbers, and the man I know in Australia who's got the best memory for numbers, clearance rates and the rest of it is Charles Tarbey. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much,
Good to see you as usual.
Yep, I'm sorry. Tom and I were just having a little joke then, so we're trying not to laugh at the moment. He's trying to control himself because you've never heard this man laugh when he gets going. It's a really unique
It was a very
laugh.
good joke.
Very unique laugh.
Share the joke with the viewers.
The numbers, they're fantastic. This week, as Tom will tell you, of course, his specialised area is going to be way up there, but across the country it's 76.2% for the national clearance rates, but Sydney hit 84.2, but the surprise is Canberra. 82.2% clearance rate. Now, whether it was two auctions and, sorry, it couldn't be two, could it? That'd be 50, have to be different. Anyway, don't worry about it. And Melbourne had 73.5%. So they're climbing.
So getting in the 80s, I mean, that's pretty much up there. Because what's the maximum? I mean, obviously, you're never going to get 100%.
No, but when we get 80s across the nation, that's when we're talking boom. When you're sort of getting that high 70s to early 80s, especially the early 80s, on a national basis, then we're starting to talk about a market being really hot. Right now it's hot in certain areas still. There are still areas where people are having to negotiate to get people to auctions and to get things to happen. So,
and that's what we need as a balance in the media, because I just come from Hong Kong, and again overseas all they see is the headlines of X amount over reserve, and I said, look, that happens, but there's still plenty of properties that we buy at reasonable prices.
It's properties, as we said, discretionary spending. When I see discretionary spending area clearance rates in the 70s, I'll know the market's really hot.
Now, have we got some more homes advertised for sale, which Tom can auction later on?
We do. We've had an increase of 2.63%, so it's five weeks in a row now we've had an increase. So the market's moving along steadily there. We still need more. I think the demand's a lot higher than the supply in certain areas, and we still need that to come through to balance the marketplace out, because we really don't want to see...
And a lot of your message is about balance, isn't it? Because you don't want to see massive booms. You want reasonable growth, but not too much.
I said, Chris, a boom is a real disruption to real estate practitioners. Most people think that real estate agents pushing for booms. The good agents will tell you it's a disruption. We need a good steady flow where people can get some capital gain over a period of time.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about positive cash flow properties earlier on in the show. Yeah. So what's happening with rents, and do you generally find there's more opportunity as you move further away from the CBDs to get higher rents?
Oh, definitely to get the higher rents, but not the capital growth, which is...
And why do you see that?
Yeah, well, it's the further away you get from the real meaningful areas of work and productivity and transportation and so on, it's going to be more difficult for people to want to live there. So you're going to have a lesser population, so the competition's not as strong, so it changes everything around. But the market, if you look at what we've been keeping over those last couple of years, you'll see it's flatlining, and we've been talking about that for a while. Sydney is at 11.01%, only slightly down from 11.11 last particular week, but Melbourne, when you look at their rental market too, it's at 7.38%. That's been in the 7s for a while, and Perth's at 18.79, and that's been in the 18s for a while. So overall, it's still at 12.49%, which again, if you're looking at the chart, it's flatlined. And that's not a bad thing. That's investors coming into the market as well as first-time buyers coming into the market. So you've got that double whammy, more competition.
And we've talked about the time delay between rents moving with the capital growth. So if a property moves up by 50 or 100 grand, even if the rent's rising, the actual yield could be going down. So people need to be aware of that and not be scared off a lower yield, because that's just the market
yield
moving.
is going down, as you know very well. The higher the price, the lower the opportunity when it comes to rental return. It is about capital growth at the end of the day, with a mixture of rental return.
Yeah, and then just finally the vacancy rates.
Yeah, they're still pretty much around the same area again, Chris. You've got your Sydney at 2.18, your Melbourne is sitting there at, again in the 3s at 3.64, and Perth is sitting at 4.54, so the average is 3.45, slightly up from last week, 3.4% vacancy rate.
Wonderful. And just in the final kind of 20 seconds or so, what are you hearing from your guys around Australia? Yeah,
still very busy, a lot of inquiries, a lot of people at open for inspections, but prices of properties that are coming in now are coming in a lot higher, so there's the agents still negotiating or starting to learn how to renegotiate their position again.
Sounds good. Good to have my A-team on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us at home. I'll be back next week. Until then, I'm Chris Craig. Good night.